We are doing the mystical riff by the river
with
Leah
and Nameh.
Yay.
Hello.
And the river is just a tiny trickle today.
It's hot.
Yeah, and we're under shade now this time, which is nice.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
Welcome.
Doing this again.
Yeah. Yeah. So as Leah's shuffling, so Leah's holding the container or the presencing of the tarot cards. And so she's shuffling right now, and I'm holding the human design side. So human design is a system that's provides a map that can help speak to how one's energy has consistency or inconsistency around how it wants to flow and be in conversation with other people that they're spending time with. And so this idea was born from the idea that we would gather monthly or as the schedule fit for us to do so. And we would do it based on the lines. So in human design, there are 6 lines associated with each gate. And depending upon where a gate was situated in a body graph or in that whole human design map, informs the profile line. So we're going from profile lines 1 through 6. And so we're going to start with 1.
Mm-hmm. For the month of August.
For the month of August, 2026.
That's right.
And if you happen upon this in 2035, Yahtzee.
Have something.
And so some of the qualities of being a first line. So if you had a profile that was, say, a 1-3, that would mean that the 1 is the conscious side of your profile. As opposed to, say, you were a 5-1, then the 1 would be part of your profile, but in the unconscious side. So our idea was that these polls, you could, in essence, go look at 2 of these readings because there's 2 numbers associated with profile. Or Jimmy Jam and have a fun time listening to us being us as we're doing this.
Yay.
Yeah. So the first line is all about foundation. So when Ra Uruhu, the person who brought human design through, was offering these 1 through 6 lines, he used the house metaphor. So people who have a first line in their profile, there's a part of them, whether it's conscious or unconscious, that really needs a stable foundation. So they might track a lot of fear or a lot of, well, I need to really understand this. I got to get to the heart. I got to study. I got to get in there and have a really stable foundation to then do what they're going to do with it. So, first lines.
We pulled the Queen of Wands.
Ooh.
So, I mean, the first thing I want to say here with the Queen of Wands is you're here to shine. And I know that's hard sometimes to let yourself shine and to not want to hide away, but the queens are creatively fertile and they are leaders. And the wands, that is manifestation, that's spirit, that's brightness, it's taking what's in here and actually bringing it into the world, like sharing your gifts. And the Queen of Wands, like, lights up the world, you know? And so I feel just this invitation into letting yourself shine, embracing your brightness and navigating the fear and anxiety that can come up when we embrace our brightness, because you know, so many of us are taught to shrink and shrink and shrink. So this is inviting you to take up more space and let yourself shine. Your gifts are needed and they are wanted and they are valued.
And what we didn't talk about before I hit record, August is the Lion's Gate, and it's all about eclipse time. Do you want to speak to eclipse time and kind of how you think about that?
Oh, just like generally how I think about eclipse time?
Yeah. Like what the fuel or the trajectory of...
You start and I'll gather my thoughts.
Okay. So in thinking about eclipse time, I think of it as a reset. it's an opportunity maybe for something that's been in shadow or that's been kind of hiding in the background. So I was feeling that as you were talking about the Queen of Wands. It's like, I got to get out there. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I got to get out there. And maybe this eclipse season in this month of August, and the Lion's Gate is a portal, so the August 8th date, and then it's actually said to be open in July, and I don't know like what the tail or like how long it stays open for past August 8th. And to say Eclipse and this portal, the two together, to me feel like whoosh, like extra.
I love that.
Extra, go do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Thinking about eclipses, I tend to think of shadow work because eclipse is a shadow, right? That is cast, and having shadow work be a thing to think about inside of brightness. Like, how is it that by processing and working with our own shadows, we're actually integrating more of ourselves and able to shine more and able to bring more of ourselves to our gifts?
Yeah.
Is where one place where my mind goes. And then also just your reminder about the Lionsgate and just Leo season.
Yeah.
You know, and just like the brightness of Leo.
Right.
You know, and I tend to think of Leo because it's a fixed fire sign. I tend to think of it as like a hearth or a bonfire, a place we can gather around the light. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought in the eclipse.
And wands are fire too, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Fire and shadow.
Here we go. And so I'm pulling human design.
Wow.
I'm having a moment with what we pulled. So I'm pulling a human design gate. And so this gate is gate 22, which is in the channel of a social being, a graceful social being. And the 22 side of the channel is how open do I feel to be a listener in a group environment, let's say. Yeah, in this deck, which I'll put up on the screen so you've got it as a background, Brynja Magnusson, she also interweaves or overlays an animal or a being, non-human being, as what offers the quality for this human design gate 22, the gate of grace. And what she offered is the Swan. And so the Swan is a very graceful, and I guess what I'm also pinging to is like a swan doesn't start as a swan, right?
In the sense of they start as a little chick.
Yeah, like there's some like mystical storyline about like I don't know, maybe I'll cut this out. But kind of like, you know, the black sheep or something like that. They're awkward in the beginning before they come into their gracefulness.
Okay. I mean, I can see a little awkward little swan chickling kind of wobbling around.
And I guess as I'm looking through the book to kind of orient myself on how Gate 22 and Swan work together, I'm curious how you see Swan with the Queen of Wands.
Well, I was looking at the two cards, and they just look like mirrors of each other, like the way they're both facing to the left. And Swans just being so elegant and graceful, and a Queen of Wands being so elegant and graceful, walking into a room and commanding attention. Like, they both have a commanding, graceful energy. You know, the queenliness of both of them.
Right.
And the sort of thoughtfulness, like social thoughtfulness that connects to the 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you see in their connection?
Well, I'm glad I went to the book. So I'll read from Brynja's book, and I'll also have it up on the screen, I'm sure. So there are many iterations of age-old story, The Ugly Duckling, right?
So it's a duck?
But all versions depict the
Signet?
who chooses to surrender completely to the great difficulty that appears before her. So what's standing out to me is what I was sensing, but I didn't have all the words for, and I'm curious when we ping back on the tarot side, like not everybody's born necessarily in that graceful quality of being the queen side of this
Right.
potency of fuel and fire energy. And so this metaphor of the ugly duckling, and really I feel what this gate 22 is really asking, because it's situated in the solar plexus, which is the emotional center. And so in the emotional center, to be in a group when I'm in a really tender place, or when I just had an argument, or somehow my emotionality is just like a bubbling fire or a bubbling pot of water, I maybe am not going to be the most graceful person. And so what this card is asking, or what gate 22 is asking, is when you want to be in and among people and have the potential impact to see where that opening is with the group of people that you're spending time with, really need to know what's happening inside, really need to know where one's emotional chemistry is to say, do I have capacity for this today or not? When she fully accepts and faces the terrifying fate given to her, she returns with a new body, elegant and beautiful. When using the word grace, there are connotations of elegance, kindness, or divine mercy. But the deepest meaning of grace, which Swan embodies, is of freeing yourself to allow a higher force to work through you. This is the cumulative principle of surrender, trust, and embodying divinity. Swan medicine is a reminder to lovingly let go into the initiations before you. Relax, it's all part of the plan.
It's beautiful. And so where I'm seeing more connections with the queen, so court cards, they're like a developmental journey from the page to the knight to the queen to the king. You don't have to associate either gender or aristocratic positions to them. You could say the page is almost like the child phase of something. It's innocent, it's excited, it's wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. The knight is like brash and trying things and exploring and experimenting. By the time we hit this queen stage of development, there is that discernment. There is that trusting yourself and trusting what's going to move through, that it sounds like there is in the grace of the 22. So I see that too, of like from the ugly duckling to the swan, from the page to the queen, this development towards trusting yourself, trusting when to step in, when to step back. And even like the contented look on her face in this is like, there's a freedom. There's a freedom you talk about, that you talked about in the 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Because I think if we were to also link this back in with that line one quality, the line one who wants a foundation, wants to know, like, can I really trust? Am I safe here? Is this a knowing that I can rely on? It's kind of like us as third lines. We're both 3/5s. The first time I face planted, I wasn't so graceful. Now in my 50s, I'm like, oh yeah, like watch me trip, and I'm just like, oh, that was such a dance move, and it's like when I get tripped up, I'm trusting, like, oh, I need to reorient, or I need to reshift, etc. I'm trying to bring in the detail of it could potentially be a stretch for a first line who wants to do the study, do all the analysis. It might be hard, or maybe more of an edge to trust.
And to add to that, just thinking about the one qualities you're describing, it's interesting to think about too. The wands are fire. The swan is a water creature who has wings that can fly. There is a sense of expansion and growth and upward movement in these cards, which it sounds like might be something that could be a little nerve-wracking for a one. But again, inviting that trust in, that you can have both. There can be foundations and you can have wings all at the same time.
Well, because it's kind of like, you know, diving in and trusting that I've practiced, you know, I've jumped off the diving board 5,000 times. My body knows this.
Yes.
And so what I think is really interesting when we now, what I think is interesting if I were to solely look at this from, you know, the duality of profiles. So a 1-3, so the third line us that's just going to try it, dig into the dirt and figure it out, pairing that with this, like, but I have to investigate, I have to research, I have to study, they actually make really great scientists. Because of that drive to be meticulous and know and have done the study. And also that experimental side of themselves with the 3. And then also some of the strongest teachers, including Ra Uruhu, the person who brought human design through, were 5-1s. So a number of the people that I've studied with are 5-1s because they've done that deep investigation for themselves, and now they're trusting the information and bringing it out in the world.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good reminder of like the gift of being a 1 and how that can really actually be a foundation and foster that the gift you give to the world and the flight you take into the air.
I love it.
Yeah.
And ooh!
Oh, speaking of flights.
So I partly brought this deck with because I know how much, or I have a sense of how much plants wisdom is a place where you steep yourself in. And I was like, if I don't know these things, I bet you Leah does. So the card that I pulled was Mugwort and Between Dreams. What do you got? How do you think that shimmy shams in all of this?
Oh, I just love it. Mugwort is Mugwort is like the dream plant.
Oh.
It's all about dreams. And so tends to be associated with like the dreams you have when you're sleeping at night. But obviously it's beyond that, right? It's also just like the mystical realms. But Mugwort, like on a practical level, you can have Mugwort near you when you sleep to have more vivid dreams, to have access to your dreams, to understand your dream messages better. And I've experienced it as potent medicine for that. My dreams are plenty vivid enough, so I gently dose on the Mugwort. But I just think it's interesting to have this again when I think about the sort of expansiveness of the cards we've pulled, this sort of quality of trusting your gifts, trusting your brightness, trusting your wonder. And in that way, like letting yourself dream and letting yourself touch and tune into the mystical, the magical, the more mysterious realms. I think Mugwort has that invitation into the mysterious, which again, like you were saying, as a 1, like you have these foundations, you've tested and you've tried so much, like you're safe enough to dream.
Yeah.
Is where my mind goes.
Yeah, because I was feeling that earlier too with first lines. Like, is there that permission of like stepping away from that? I want to call it like the whoopee, like that blanket, that security blanket of like, okay, I'm gonna step away from the books. I'm gonna be far away from my library or my whatever. Yes. And like free falling, etc. Yeah.
I just imagine like a portal, like seeing a portal and like trusting that you have what you need to walk through. You know, and if you need to bring a blankie with you, great.
Dude, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
We love a transitional object. That's great.
Totally. Beautiful. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, ones.
What did you say?
I just had a song come through.
You want to sing it for us?
Listen to your heart. Is it calling to you?
I love that song. I love how you're like, I'm not going to belt it.
I can't.